I was fucking so out of the loop at picnic. Sure, I've watched highlights, but it's all melded together in my brain because I just watched them all in one sitting.
Did you watch any of the after, like the Roy Keane stuff and that afterwards?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I saw the Keane stuff.
Did you see Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank was also there being very vocal?
No, I didn't see Hasselbank. Sky Sports didn't put up Hasselbank clips.
There's a few going around. He was saying, Jesus came here to score goals. This is, I don't. If I'm number 9, like when he was number 9 in the 90s and the early 2000s, I want to be up there. I don't want to be dropping, giving passes. I want to be part of some kind of front three. He's like, give me the ball. That's how you score a goal. That's what you're there to do. A day ago, he was sacked as Burton manager.
I actually saw that. And
I was like, what is he doing talking about another team? His team was bottom of the league with 1 point after 7 games.
Did you see his quote 2 weeks ago? I couldn't believe this. He said something you'd never say. He said, look, if I think it's my fault, I'll walk away.
Well, sure enough, he did. He resigned yesterday or whatever this comes out. But
what's he doing on Sky Sports?
Laughing and joking at Roy Keane about Arsenal. It's like, you haven't won a game all year. Like, well, I guess he probably got a schedule from Sky Sports. And, yeah, that'll cover the year. All right, Burton, I'm off. Yeah. Best luck with League One. Tough league. Toughest of the leagues, I say. Hard to get out, hard to stay in. All right, I'm off.
Thanks for taking a chance on me as manager.
I know. It'd be so easy to be an ex. I mean, listen, the hard part is obviously being one of the best footballers in the world. But after that, it's smooth sailing.
Easy.
They just give you jobs.
Bad manager, bad pundit. It doesn't matter.
I mean, you had on that host of experts, talking about managers and management, interviewing Ten Hag, asking Ten Hag questions. You had Roy Keane, failed manager, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, failed manager, Gary Neville, failed manager, and Paul Merson, failed manager, saying, do you think Ten Hag is starting to figure it out? It's like, what are you asking them for? What would they know about us?
No, honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense. But listen, I've been on that road before. They're imposters.
Nothing to ask me, for my opinion, a little bit unfair.
But in between that, there was drinks.
Why are you talking rubbish?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a No Nonsense podcast with Cathal and Will. A little bit later than usual this week. Will was too tired after your picnic. Couldn't hack anymore, folks.
Yeah, it's and this is pretty bad because you had a struggle at your first festival back, but you went through.
I was there, bro. I was fine the next week. I was struggling at the festival. I wouldn't let it affect the fans ever.
But you were you went whole hog as well and camped. I didn't even camp, and I was fucked after it. I don't have it in me anymore.
Well, when you told me you were sleeping in the car, I didn't want to say that's a bad idea because it was like a day before. I wasn't going to change anything. I thought that was a bad idea, though. That's...
Yeah, we slept in the car for, I'd say, 3 hours. And then, we lied in the car for 3 hours and then we were just like, fuck this. And then just drove home.
Yeah. You drove home?
Arna did, yeah.
Were you not drinking?
No, not that.
Oh.
So it worked out. Like, we got lucky that she was like, no, I'm not drinking. She probably knew.
Did you not stay there then at all? You just drove home every night?
Drove home every night, but it was a treat because every single, we left around 12-ish every night. Every night as we were getting into the car, the rain started. We had the weather was beautiful the whole time we were there.
Yeah.
We got none of the monsoon.
Well, that's disgraceful, I have to say. I'm so disappointed in you. You didn't even stay the night. 12 o'clock, the party's getting started.
Don't worry though, I spent plenty of money on €9 pints.
Oh, no. It sounds like the worst of the world. Did you get to see the Arctic Monkeys?
No, I don't really care about the Arctic Monkeys though. They play all their new shit. I don't care about that.
Okay, well, let's leave it there for the sake of the pod because that's going to divide us any further than that.
You know what I did go see though? I saw a podcast. I saw I don't think I need to name it. At one stage.
God. We have to get to my night in Arsenal. You're pushing it now, Will. You're really pushing it.
Because the reason I bring it up is because I was like when we were watching it, I was thinking the thoughts of me and you doing a live podcast and people cheering the bandwagon wheel and stuff. That's
Yeah,
what it was
right.
like. It was like really obscure references. People were like, "Hey!" It was so weird.
Was there many people there?
Yeah, it's like a busy tent, like a little small tent, but it was packed.
So I remember we ran into the now famous, now successful, brilliant Shane in 2019. He was doing stand up at Electric Picnic,
Yeah,
and we asked him, "Oh, how did the gig go?" And he looked at us and said, "Rough." We're like, "Fuck!" Like we were getting a picture of them, so he was already to that point where he was famous enough for us to get a picture of them, and he was like, "It was bad." I was like, "Jesus!" And he's a funny stand-up comedian. Imagine us doing a podcast live.
I tell you who was there. Well, no, I won't actually, because there's no point. I was about to advertise another football podcast.
Oh yeah, we don't want to give our competitors a leg up, Will.
We finally have
Good
new
shout.
listeners. We can't let them know there's others out there.
Good catch there. They nearly tanked us. Yeah, look, the big story, the main story of the weekend. I think we kind of previewed this last Thursday, I guess it was.
Yeah.
United Arsenal. And we did say it was always kind of a big game, and we kind of spoke into existence. Really, it was a real throwback, I guess, in this 30-year anniversary. The scriptwriters decided Arsenal and United were going to be a really tough physical game.
Yeah, maybe
lots
this
of questionable tackles and stuff, and lots of goals, and then Man United would win. It was like, yeah, just like the mid 2000s.
It's like
Very
back in the
reminiscent.
day.
It was a strange game. I mean, Arsenal really did dominate. It was very similar to the Liverpool game in a way. It's kind of okay. There's clearly one team who's really good here. One team is going to work on the counter. I mean, Arsenal, like to say, it wasn't one of those ones where I think, oh yeah, they're finished. They're cooked. Like they dominated the ball. It wasn't like they're trying to walk it in or anything like that.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus had a great game.
Yeah.
If you're Roy Keane, you'd say, did he score? Did he score? Like, no, Roy, he didn't score.
Bad game, bad player.
Yeah. What was his quote after the game? You take the points, I'll take the 3 points. He was loving it.
Less of the excuses.
Oh my
It's not
God.
an excuse, Roy.
And then his criticism of Arteta after the game was like, it's always about what about us and what we did wrong, not about the opposition. It's like that's not surely what you'd be saying.
What manager in the world comes out in the press conference after like, "Oh, they were savage, weren't they? We were terrible."
It'd be so easy to be just like, after the game, he's always talking about the other team. What did you do wrong? Talk about yourself. Like it goes either way. You just have it either way if you wanted to. Do you know what I mean? Just this is the right kid, right? There's a lot of players, a lot of teams, a lot of pundits who were kind of, positive and kind of almost naive. You think of maybe Jim Redknapp or maybe Peter Crouch, kind of happy-go-lucky almost. And then there's like kind of the Graham Souness's who were just like dour all the time. Even when Liverpool win and they're clearly happy, it's just like they're not enjoying this at all.
Yeah.
They love misery. Roy Keane is the extreme of both.
Yeah.
When they're losing, he is calling to literally saying, "I'd be swinging on lads." In the dressing room. And then when they win, he was just rubbing it in Paul Merson's face. And what was Paul Merson doing there, by the way?
100%. He was literally there. Like, I've never seen him do punditry on a game. It was literally because get Roy on Merson. That's a good combo. Like,
and it was.
Yeah, it was amazing telly. But it was so bizarre. Like, where was fucking, I don't know, who does Arsenal for Sky Sports? They don't really have a Neville or Cara, do they?
No, I mean they'd be all French, wouldn't they, from the glory years?
Yeah, because Wright is on BBC. He'd be ideal.
Yeah.
Or like, there's
and
no
him
one.
and he can do the World Cups and they're great together.
Yeah.
But no, it was. I seen him before. Well, this time we also forgot some of it. It was an unbelievable performance by Paul Merce.
Yeah.
It was like watching someone come out of retirement to do punditry again. Like he's been in the Super Six, or not Super Six, the Soccer Saturday office for so long now.
Where you're just reading the scores, really. You're not like analysing the games, it feels like.
And the bit with the start where he's talking to Tomo and he's talking to Charlie Nicholas, all those lads who have been let go, Letizia, just talking absolute ring.
Yeah.
And like when they forget players' names and stuff, it's kind of like endearing or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
he couldn't remember one of the Arsenal players' names. Like, who's your man? The young lad? And he's like, Martinelli. And then like, no. And then they was like, Odegaard's like, no. This man for like 20 seconds. And then he was Lukonga or whatever. I was like, okay, so was he forgetting the name, or was he pretending to not know the name so he would have to pronounce it?
Yeah. Classic.
The last time I saw him, he also did the same thing where he got someone's name wrong. I think Graham Souness corrected him and he kind of laughed. This is why I don't do the live games.
Little did he know you're on the live game soon.
Yeah, but did you see their predictions for top 4? Who would finish ahead of?
No, I actually didn't. Can I
it's-
guess? Roy Keane said United would finish top 4, and Gary Neville.
It's not what they said; it's the way they said it. But Roy Keane versus Paul Merson. I mean, it's your prediction versus the prediction they tell you not to worry about. It was just so direct from Keane.
Who do you think finishes higher, Arsenal or Manchester United?
United. I think United search for the top 4. I think they've got a settled group now. Obviously, the transfer, I mentioned it earlier. A lot of baggage with players are not happy at the club have gone. New manager settling in. The options off the bench today we saw. United for me, and I know the lads will all agree with me. Marsch?
No, I was impressed. I know Arsenal lost. I know, and there's ways of losing football matches. I think Arsenal there for the long run. I think at United there's a lot of big players here not playing at the moment, and that's going to go on as the season goes on. And this manager's got to do a lot of looking after people, and he's got to keep a lot of players happy. It's going to be a hard job. But when I listen to talking there, if I'm being honest, I'm thinking, I want to play for you. You know, he talks well and he's got a plan. But, you know, if Casemiro don't get in the team and Ronaldo don't get in the team, it's going to be hard as the season goes on and Maguire's out of the team. You know, these are big players. They're international players. It's hard to keep everybody happy.
I got a bit lost there.
I'm going to go. I think if Jimmy's right and Jesus scores goals, I think Arsenal.
Jesus will score 20
I'm not
goals.
saying Man United will not get. Oh, well, who finishes above who? Not who's in the
who's
top
going to
4.
finish above who?
Oh, okay, yeah, but I'll go.
I think City, Liverpool, and Tottenham. I think will finish in the top 3.
A shocking performance for him.
Oh, that's shocking for us. And the whole thing. I don't know how we got straight into, punditing on the punditry.
Also, what is the story with... Why is all the punditry done on the pitch now? What happened to the nice studio they had?
Yeah, the pitch was kind of like a...
What if it's brain?
Pre-match thing.
It's weird.
Well, I suppose they got interviews with Ericsson and Ten Hag pitch side. They're not going to schlep up the studio to the
Yeah.
But it's by the pitch, and then I can come out in my cool flip flops and make jokes about beating Ireland. Then I guess I might do that. I hate Ericsson again. By the way,
You're back up. Yeah, well, look, it's long enough
I've
since the
dug up the hatchet. I've dug it up, and I'm wielding it again. I'm going to fucking throw it next time I see him. He's such a smug little bastard, isn't he, Ericsson?
He is.
God, he was so good. He was so good in the game, and he knew it.
Yeah.
He knew that he was the difference in that game, and he came out and said it was a lovely afternoon.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Oh.
He's really...
it is little...
I mean, if you think about it, Ireland's enemy, former Spurs player, and now United player, and he's really like the anti of everything you like.
he was just... and like he was unbelievable. That was the worst thing. He was like the villain in a high school movie at the start of the movie where they're good at everything and they're really mean. You go, this wouldn't happen in real life. Those people are usually sound enough because they have a great life and they just kind of share the wealth. It's very rare that they're this good and also mean. But I mean, he was the difference. I mean, for large parts of the game, Odegaard was very, very good. Arsenal dominated possession. That's what the stats will tell you. But I mean, it was just the moments of indiscipline that Arteta called it. Odegaard was a bit off Ericsson, and that's all Ericsson needed. Just someone that up his arse for 1 minute of the game. Ball to Bruno to Rashford with the lucky finish. Did you see that deflection? That was just like, oh, not your day.
Yeah, this is I saw a great comment because obviously I couldn't watch the game live, so I was watching like the extended highlights on YouTube, and the top comment was a United fan who said, "This has to be in my top 4 fake dawns since Fergie retired. It's way up there.
Yeah.
There's been so many where it's like, finally, everything's clicking and we're back, but you just know it's not going to last. Something will go.
Well, it is clicking, Will. But you have to spare a thought for Ole Gunnar Solskjær, who's definitely watching this in his full case back in Norway.
Yeah.
He's thinking, this feels like kind of weird, like kind of deja vu type feeling watching these games. I mean,
we were
how
talking
much
about it
money-
last week. That was
We
like,
did.
it's very Ollie ball, and it gets more so every week, it looks like.
How much money have they spent to get back to Ole Gunnar Solskjær?
Yeah. And it's funny because it seems like the main difference, obviously Maguire's benched as well, but the main difference is Ronaldo's not playing, so like the players up front can counter because they're all very quick.
Yeah.
Which is like, that was the whole, Ollie was like, it felt like he didn't want to bench Ronaldo because he had just come in. It's like, you can't bench Ronaldo. It was an international incident if you did it. So it does seem like they literally just have Ollie, a better version of Ollie, I'd say. I think it's more promising with Ten Hag because, like, he can work, like, it's not just countered down the line. Whereas Ollie was like, I'm just going to do this and ride it out till it stops.
Well, this is the problem, Will, right? The start of the season, we saw, Ten Hag trying to play it from the back, and then went, okay, right. I'm assuming he talked to whoever and said, can we get X, Y, Z in? And they went, we might get X, probably not Z, and definitely not Y. But okay, well then I can't play that way.
Yeah.
And I have to play Liverpool, and I have to play Arsenal. So what I'm going to do, lose?
Yeah.
With the way, playing my style with players I know aren't good enough? Or do I say, right, batten on the hatches, get through these games, get to what, the end of the season with Ronaldo on the bench, with the captain on the bench? I mean, how long can this go on, Will?
Well, that's the thing is that, I mean, the best thing that could have possibly happened to Ten Hag was winning that first game when he benched Maguire, Shaw and Ronaldo. If that was like a draw or a loss, he's stuck for the rest of the season because it's like, we have to play Ronaldo. You have to do this. But now it's like, we actually don't need him. We've been better every time they don't play. And it does feel like another player who I feel like Ten Hag definitely was not involved in is Casemiro, who I think was literally bought just to wave at the crowd the day of the protests. Because it doesn't seem like he has any interest in playing him.
He didn't seem to have much interest in playing. He came on and immediately gave the ball away.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's talking about Maguire. Oh, Maguire straight away. That was because Casemiro gave the ball away immediately.
Yeah.
Now, look, I think that was a very high-paced game because all the Arsenal subs that came on, Arsenal immediately conceded as well. Maybe from the bench didn't look like that kind of I mean, it looked like that from TV, but like the subs that came on were way off it.
Yeah.
On both sides.
Yeah.
So maybe, that was part of it that, they thought this is a tough game to come into for anybody.
Yeah.
I don't know. Casemiro wasn't lined up to go to United all summer.
No,
I'm sure he did a pre-season with Real Madrid, so I mean, it's not like he couldn't be fit, surely.
No, and like he's Casemiro. His whole thing is that he runs and runs and runs. Like,
well, he ran and ran and ran, maybe. And we'll see how much he has left in the tank, Will, and maybe United overpaid for him. I don't know. Yeah. But I tell you what, Will, this isn't going to be popular now. This is going to be a popular choice, but I guarantee you won't hear anybody else saying this on any other podcast.
It's the N word.
Well, I'm sure you probably would hear that on the podcast.
We might need to beef that.
We might be the 238th top podcast in America this week. But you know who the ones ahead of us are? Well, you know what they're saying. No, it is, Will, that I have a new nomination for the Golden Lukaku.
Ooh, interesting.
Anthony.
Really? I could see that. I mean, he's very expensive.
Well, obviously he scored in the debut, same as Nunez. But similar to Nunez, who's had some almost goals, which I don't know if they count early in the season. We'll have to see. He seemed a bit kind of when we celebrate that goal, I kind of thought, you just bought for 85 million. And it was like a tap in. Yeah. And honestly, you know what it was like actually? Do you remember last year, maybe 2 years ago, when Dean Henderson showed the entire side of the goal to Salah?
Yeah,
and everyone had a screenshot of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, look at this idiot.
Yeah.
Ramsdale, I was waiting for the same treatment, or like the side by side even. It was very similar. It was like, where did you think he was going to go with his clearly only one left foot?
Yeah.
And then the way he celebrated the fans, like point at the badge, is like, this feels like you're gonna, make this one goal count because you're not sure how many others you're gonna score. It wasn't like,
he
I scored
did.
that.
I did think
Where that came from.
I think he could be a golden Lukaku, but I don't think United fans will see him with that, because I think his whole shtick is that he's like, like the Ander Herrera type of like, if he's playing for you, you'll like him because he's kissing the badge and all that stuff. But I could definitely see him getting like 4 goals and 6 assists this season.
Yeah, I just kind of thought 85 million for that.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But I was on. I don't know if any listeners have office jobs, but if you're bored, have a look through Transfer Markt.
Yeah.
Hours of fun. Just looking at stuff. I was looking at the transfers this season, Will. I know they have like a value on every player.
Yeah.
I remember they did a few years ago where you could put in your age and what level you played at, like 5-side to 11-side to non-league, and they give you like a value.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how they do the same with the players. It's based on your age, based on your performances and previous things. So it's very kind of technical, very kind of based on the stats, very stats based valuations. I was going to the transfers this season, and they have like the market value according to them versus what teams paid for them.
Yeah,
it's crazy. There's only 3 players in the top 20 transfers.
Holy moly.
Who are below the price paid for them.
The bargains, you'd say.
Yeah, there are only 3 bargains in the million, a millionaire's bargain, they call it.
Yeah.
Can you guess any of those players, Will?
Could I ask, what is the lowest like price? Do you know what I mean? Like what level are we? Is it just all Prem signings?
These are all Premier League signings. We've been a lot of people talking about the money being spent. It's more than all leagues combined that they spent on players.
Yeah, Nottingham Forest, I think, spent more than La Liga.
Yeah, crazy amounts. I've not heard somebody say it's necessarily a bad thing either. Just kind of reporting that on the records being smashed.
Yeah.
But one of them, Will, is it's kind of a trick question as well. So it's not even that they got a bargain. It's just they got lucky.
Right. I'm trying to think is Malacia to United one, because he was very cheap. I think he was 15 million. But I don't know. His value probably wasn't too high.
He's not in the top 20.
No, yeah, so his value's too low. Fuck, I have no idea. It feels like every transfer I can think of is like 80 million, 70 million, 90 million.
Except, Will, for Erling Haaland, who had a release clause of 60 million.
Yeah, but he's on like 500 grand a week, isn't he?
Oh yeah, but this is what I'm saying. Like they bought him for 60 million, and he was market valued at 150 million, but only because there was a release clause.
Right.
Crazy low. Well, listen, I think when Dortmund probably signed him as a teenager, thought, well, yeah, 60 million would be good for someone in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
But if he gets any better than that, he'll resign by then. But I mean, hey, look, what can you do?
I think as well there was a thing that his like agent, because I think it was Mendes, got like huge money for that.
No, it was your man,
Raiola.
His soul, Mino Raiola.
What was it that he said? Oh, I wouldn't pay my Chihuahua to walk on the grass for this money.
The famous, now infamous episode 1 of Pogba, the Pogba entry.
Yeah, before it all goes south for Pogba.
Like Anthony, he was market value of 35 million.
Yeah.
My United signed him for 95 million euros. This is all in euros, by the way. Wesley Fofana, 40 million valuation. Chelsea paid 80 million for him.
Chelsea also gave him a 7-year contract. Did you hear that?
Yeah. Darren Nunez, 55 million. They bought him for 75.
Yeah.
Casemiro, 40 million. They bought him for 70.
Yeah.
Alexander Isaac, who smashed Newcastle's record signing, was marketed at 30 million. Bought him for 70.
Holy shit.
But it goes on. Like, I mean, even like the Cucurella, Transfer Market reckoned he would probably go for about 28 million. 65 million. Richarlison, 48 million. Put 10 on top of that, 58 million.
Yeah, it was
Sandro Martinez, 32 million. Man United paid 57.37 million for him.
Did you know
Jesus even was a little bit below. He was marketed at 50 million. Arsenal paid 52. So that's kind of, not too bad. But I mean, the next one down the list is Calvin Phillips, who was rated at 50 million and might not have gone for a steal at 49 million.
No, bargain. I don't even know if he's playing.
He's not. He played in the friendly against Barcelona in the middle of the week, the money spinner for Barcelona, but I haven't seen him since. Yeah, so I mean, look, that's the thing as well. In one way, I'm kind of like 95 million if he only scores so many goals. But then in another way, what is money anymore?
Who cares?
I mean,
Did you know that he was not offered to, Ajax said 70 million at the start of the summer. United said way too dear, not a chance. And then they went back and paid like 30 million over that. And I think Martinez was the same. I think Martinez was a weird one because the Ajax were quoted as saying like 50 million, that's it. And United said 55 million. And Ajax said, okay, that's more than we asked.
Yeah. So where to from here, Will? I mean, have United turned it around?
It's impossible to tell. Because
that's our job. We have to guess.
No, but I mean, it's impossible to tell because whenever it seems like they turn it around, Ole Gunnar Solskjær won like 14 games in a row. He had the longest unbeaten away record, I think, in United history, maybe even Prem history. It was a long time.
Yeah.
And then that fell to shit immediately. Like, it just turned so quickly. United were losing to Brentford 4-0 like 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago. They're so, like, they fluctuate so much. All it takes is one thing to go wrong, and it's chaos all the time.
Yeah, I would feel for any other team.
Yeah.
In this situation, I think
they've
turned the corner.
Yeah.
You're looking good. You're building, momentum. You're getting a solid base, and he'll have time to. But no, for Man United, the problem I think is the same problem they've had for probably the last 5 or 6 years, where there's so many Man United heads in the media.
The noise.
Like Roy Keane, who is saying without a shadow of doubt 4th place.
Yeah.
They go and they lose 2 of the next 3 games, and they'll go back to Roy Keane and go, Roy, why were you so wrong?
Yeah.
And like, look, they have jobs to keep. They have to now justify why they were so wrong because they got ahead of themselves. And they'll say, well, if he'd stuck to our plan at United,
he should have played Ronaldo.
And then the middle, like, actually remember when Ronaldo came over to him in the middle of the puntry and he started saying, why aren't you staying? Why aren't you playing? Why aren't you starting? You're on TV.
Yeah. You don't see it at any other club. It's like the circus is never too far away. It's like you can always hear the clown music distance in the background.
Like that, like something that will happen. And then, but the worst thing is, like, because pundits, like there's been Arsenal pundits or Liverpool pundits, no one's going to worry what Marsch said about Arsenal this week, really. Yeah. But with the United, it seems that it always happens where they'll say, middle of the week, on a Tuesday or Wednesday, there'll be a press conference, and someone say, Roy Keane at the weekend said that your team lacked passion. Because that's what Roy Keane said. He says, like, guts or
Paul Scholes
balls.
said that Luke Shaw told him.
Yeah, but it won't even be something like that. It'll be literally like they'll ask him about something so vague, like some punch reckon you weren't at it. Thoughts? Now he'll have to like respond to that, and that'll be a headline. And then of course Jake Humphries or whatever will say, so Paul, Ten Hag wasn't too happy with you during the week, and then this becomes like back and forth through the media where it's like Rashford hasn't scored in 6 games.
Yeah,
that's the real problem.
I mean, there was a great example of that after the Brentford game. I don't think we even talked about it. Did you see the clip on TalkSport of Simon Jordan talking about how Ten Hag was smaller than he expected and that's why they lost?
Yeah, like that kind of stuff. It's one, there's people who really do care about Man United, and that's the other thing too. If it's not like getting ahead of themselves saying, Ollie's at the wheel, etc., it's saying, you happy with second? You happy with third? In my day we used to win the league.
Yeah, and back 20 years ago we used to win the league.
So it's one the two. Like it's never enough. It's either too much too soon or it's not enough. For Arsenal, I mean, 3 words, Will. Top of the league.
Yeah,
that's 4 words. Shit. Anyway,
that's a good soundbite.
I don't know. Well, look, I think the main thing is it's time for top 5s. There's music. Here we go. Thank you, top 5. Saved by the top 5 theme music. This week's top 5, Will. Can you guess? Do you want to guess?
Anthony's.
No, that's 3 weeks from now.
You have them scheduled in the Excel sheet.
Don't just read the script and try and play a joke with me, Will. I mean, we're a very tight ship here. Don't just ruin the surprise for people. No, well, it's if you read the notes for this week, it says Pierre's.
Oh, very good.
Number 1, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang.
He's number 1.
That's right.
The best. Yeah.
Okay, Will, name 5 other Pierres then.
Hey, I'm not the top 5 guy.
Well, then keep your thoughts to yourself, all right? If you can name 5 Pierres and find one that should be ahead of him, I'll be very impressed, because this is not an easy one. Right? I try and challenge myself this segment every week. I'll just pick top 5, Mikes or Johns. That'll be easy.
They're week 7
That'll be an easy way to go.
Go on, who's number 2?
I mean, look, you're pushing me now. Fucking going home at 12 o'clock at EP. Are you going to buy a ticket this year, for next year?
Yeah, I think out of utter FOMO, probably, yeah.
Well, it won't be coming with me. Right. Number 2. No, look, number 1, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. I think last week, I said Nigel de Jong was top 1 Nigel. Kind of, on your team you love him, against them you hate him. I'm not sure which category Aubameyang falls into. Maybe hated by everyone.
General malaise. No.
General kind of like, what a waste. Although, to be fair to the top Pierre, the top P, if you will. That's right, folks. We're still beating the Andrew Tate drum 3 weeks after his cancellation.
We are literally the only people talking about him. I haven't even seen a clip of him in like 2 weeks.
He has undoubted talent. I mean, that's probably why people call him a waste. If you had no talent, they just say he was bad. Yeah. But he scored everywhere he's gone. Saint Etienne, he was very good. Dortmund, obviously, he was probably one of the best strikers in the world at one stage. Dortmund. Arsenal, he really was good for a bit.
Yeah, he burst onto the scene and then fizzled.
Won them the FA Cup, dropped the trophy. That was probably the curse that started, I'd say. Once he dropped that trophy, he kind of laughed about it. The magic of the cup turned nasty.
Yeah.
And cursed him with bad juju. But I mean, he scored goals at Barcelona. I mean, Barcelona was such a fitting club for him at that time to go to. An absolute farce. Of course they signed up Aubameyang. Yeah. Of course he would score goals. He actually did pretty well at Barcelona.
Get him out.
And then end with the home invasion and him getting scared out to Chelsea, where we'll see how he gets on.
I can tell you how he's going to get on. Not well. He was just in the league like a year ago, and it didn't seem like he was up for it anymore. It didn't seem like he cared about it.
No, not really. And he's 33 now?
Yeah.
So I mean, look, he's got another big wage packet to write off the sunset too.
He has gotten 2 more big contracts since his last big contract at Arsenal, which was the whole thing. So like, this is his last one. He really wants a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, he's played
he's done well for
clubs
himself.
like the stocks. He's got in at the right time, just cashed in, buy, and he's going to sell on now. I mean, that's why he's number 1. That's why he's the top P.
Best.
Number 2, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg.
Oof, number 2, Højbjerg.
Now, when I saw him playing for Southampton, I thought he's all right. I saw him going to Tottenham. I thought, they've done this before, signed kind of good at different clubs. Sigurdsson, remember him?
Yep.
The greater Liverpool police certainly do.
Yeah. Wonder when we're going to hear about that guy again.
Oh no, I wouldn't say so. But Wanyama as well, he was good at Celtic, then he goes to Southampton, and then he went to Tottenham and just kind of we went after that.
Yeah.
Højbjerg has actually gotten better, I think. At Tottenham, only 27 still. He has an old face.
Yeah, I did not know he was 27. I would have put money on him being like 31.
Exactly. Yeah. So he's in his peak.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, onward and upward for Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. Might make it to Real Madrid yet.
Yeah.
Number 3, Jean-Pierre Papin.
Very good. Just 2 more. I can't believe.
What? You never heard of Jean-Pierre Papin?
The name sounds familiar, but he's number 3.
You've outed yourself, Will, as a Philistine, a footballing Philistine.
I think that ship sailed.
No, look, he was a Ballon d'Or winner. Will, did you know that?
I did not know that.
Well, I'm looking at his transfer market right now, and that's what's telling me.
Are you in work?
1991.
1991.
Yeah, the 90s, man. It's relevant still.
I was minus 3 years old.
He played in France with Marseille, played at Bayern Munich, played at AC Milan, won the league everywhere he went, Will. He's after our number 3, Pierre.
Yeah.
Number 4, Frank Henri Pierre Ribery.
This is like Dybala all over again.
That's his name, Will. You're saying that's not his name? Is there a dispute? You want to dispute one of the Pierres? You want to do your own research and dispute it? Is that happening here?
If you were buying a Ribery kit, what name are you getting on the back of it?
FBR. Frank Pierre Ribery. Like Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Okay, it's a thing. Well, people say it all the time. People at his current club of Salernitana in the Serie A say it all the time.
We were talking about him not too long ago, weren't we? What was he saying?
He was talking about the time he got came
robbed.
third in the Ballon d'Or in 2013.
Yeah, he was like, what was it? Greatly.
He remained aggrieved.
He remained aggrieved. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, once again, Frank, you're fourth. So sorry, but
you've gone down, mate.
I didn't even make that connection in my head, Will. But yeah, there we go. You're sorry, Frank, but you're not really a Pierre. So for one. Yeah, it's kind of exactly the same in a way, Will. I mean, the other ones are like outright Pierres, and then this one is like you're surrounded by Franks and Henris, and your Pierre just kind of in the middle. So you can't really give to you on just the strength of that Pierre alone.
Yeah. One more.
And number 5, Maximilien Robespierre, former member of the National Assembly of France, Will.
Oh my God. I wonder how many weeks the top 5 is going to go for.
Do you know what happened to Maximilien Robespierre?
No,
Will?
I do not.
Tried to kill himself and he bottled it. Shot himself through the cheek.
He shot himself through the cheek?
Yeah, he was going to do the old shoot, back in River 1790.
Musket.
Musket in the mouth, and it's a long process. I don't like to pull the trigger quickly.
No, you gotta load it up. Yeah.
You gotta clean it out. You gotta check for the things. It's like, oh God, is this how it's gonna end for old Maximilien Robespierre? The top 5 at the time. Well, he was number 1 Pierre. He's gone down to the ranks over the years. But I mean, at the times, like, is this how the top Pierre goes out? Is this how it all ends with the current top P? It wasn't. The mob caught up with him and then they guillotined him.
Yeah, I was gonna say guillotine's a fair bet.
Yeah, it was a war of independence type thing in France. Yeah. Bastille Day, all that jazz. So there we go, folks. There's your top 5 Pierres.
Cool. One of the best, yeah, I would say.
I would say it's probably standard.
I like that it's getting earlier in the show.
Well, look, the reason for that is because, I mean, the other big thing was the VAR talk, Will. VAR, you're serious. Remember that episode 2 years ago?
Can we use that again? Has enough time passed?
I don't know, but I mean, the real question is VAR ever going to get any better?
It doesn't seem it. It seems like it's not that it's even getting worse. It seems like it's the exact same as it was when it first came in. Terrible.
Yeah, at first it was like, oh, it's the system is fine. It's just about, they need to figure out how to use it and get to grips with it and kind of define it a bit more. Yeah. Goal and Techno came in and immediately it worked. It was like, oh yeah, this makes perfect sense. Yeah. This is exactly what it needs. I guess because it is literally a line in the sand. Yeah. There's very little that can go wrong there. It's either the whole ball's over or it's not. There's nothing that can be kind of up for interpretation or, any of that kind of stuff. I mean, the biggest thing though, I think, is the inconsistencies. Yeah. Like the one in the Arsenal United game. Yeah. The first goal of Martinelli.
Very light tackle.
It was a foul though.
Yeah, it was a foul. But I mean, if it doesn't end up in the back of the net, the referee's not even. Doesn't even come into his vision. Do you know what I mean? He would say it not a foul. I would say.
It's kind of one of those ones before this year. If that's in the box, it's not a penalty, and then people say if that happens in the middle of the pitch, it's a free all day. This year, the ref looked at it and went, "I think we're letting the game go." Though,
yeah, I think that's when we're switching it up.
I think we're just kind of like it was a lot of. I mean, Sack had a pretty bad tackle.
Yeah.
On Fernandez, I think it was. McTominay threw his use to the ground, just like suplexed him.
Yeah.
You know, and then this was kind of very light, and he looked and went, "Yeah, I think that's what we're doing. That's fine." And then the Man United players surrounded him, and then the VAR checked, and it was a foul. But
yeah,
there was an incident in the Leicester and Brighton game. Tielemans did the exact same thing for Leicester's first goal.
Yeah,
and that was in the first, I think, 30 seconds of the game, and it wasn't free. So it's kind of like, well, what is the situation? I mean, the Brighton Brighton players didn't surround the referee at that instance. I guess they knew they were going to score 5 goals. It's going to be grand.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there was a few other instances in that Brighton game as well. The McAllister goal. Did you see that?
No, I don't think so. It was the McAllister goal.
You didn't see the McAllister goal?
I saw the free kick. That one?
Yeah. That was the best goal he's probably scored, McAllister, that free kick. Only because the best goal he'll ever score was disallowed.
I did see that.
Yeah. That's the one I'm talking about. Yeah, that was disallowed. I mean, an unbelievable hit. And they couldn't even draw the line on the pitch. It was so kind of like, this isn't what it's about. This isn't what this is meant to be about. And it was like, the whole thing was that he was in the way of the defender who headed it out. But he didn't actually touch the ball.
Yeah.
He made him head it out. Everything is reaction to something.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
The fact there's players on the pitch makes you do stuff. Like, you're thinking, what if he comes at me?
Yeah, you're surrounded by players in all sorts of positions.
Yeah.
You know, of course you're trying to react to 3 players at once. I mean, you know, you'll always see a match today, players with the head in a swivel, like looking at different players on the pitch. They can't see if they're offside either. You know, so like, if you're going to go down that road of like, well, he affected the play, it's like, well, they all affected the play.
Yeah.
Every single player on that pitch affected the play in some way by either not marking the man or whatever. So I mean, you know, there's that, and like say there was the other one was the Chelsea West Ham one. That was shocking.
Yeah, that was
awful.
Poor. Do you think that's like enough of a lifeline for Moyes though? Like, you would have gotten it, but or are they like another bad result? You're out.
Well, he certainly made his interview count after the game. Did you hear that? I
did. Tuchel had a very similar interview, and the Leeds manager had a very similar interview. They're all kicking off.
Yeah, Coach Marsch.
Coach Marsch, yeah.
You know, I've kind of, I didn't want to actually do the whole kind of, he's American, he says soccer, you know, because it feels like kind of punching down, and it feels like, we get it, he's not from here. It's,
he
whatever.
Is that character though, like he really is. He plays into it.
He's box office, he really is.
Yeah. He's very underrated. I haven't seen Sky, the clip machine needs to be pumping him out on TikTok and YouTube Shorts. You don't see any Marsch clips.
Yeah. I saw him, I think today, he was apologising for his behaviour, while also having to go at VAR. And then, of course, in America, we do things a little different.
I seen that, yeah.
And I was like, that's exactly what they want you to do.
Yeah.
You know, but like, again, I don't want to go too hard on him because I feel like I'm just doing US soccer guy.
Yeah.
Who's still doing that same shtick on Twitter 10 years on.
Way. I remember
100%.
I remember thinking that was funny in like 4th year of school.
he is still doing that, and he's like selling cups and t-shirts or whatever.
He probably has a podcast.
No, I've checked. That I would have thought he would have like naturally transitioned into like other stuff. He's still just tweeting as Alexi Lala. That's his bit.
So mad.
That's what I don't want to do that. But I mean, it was funny because he got sent off this week for like losing the fucking rag. Yeah. Oh, I've never seen someone like, of all like the Wengers or like Ferguson spitting or Mourinho.
Yeah,
this was like different level. This was an American going mad.
I've seen managers get sent off because they're like being rude to the ref or whatever. This felt like he was being sent off for his own safety. It's like, we need to get this guy out of here. He's going to hurt himself or someone else.
He's taking a fit.
He's taking a fit. Come on. I thought he was taking a fit that time.
Oh, like he. Well, the best thing was that, of course, I think 2 weeks ago when they asked him when they were playing Chelsea about Tuchel, and they're like, "Oh, well, what do you think about the sending off?" I was like, "Sorry, was he not sent off? I thought if you're sent off, if you get a red card, you can't play. That's the rules, no." And then it's like, oh my God. What goes on comes out, baby.
This is not going to be his last sending off either.
Oh no. When he gets sacked, like, to be fair, most Premier managers do.
Yeah, it'll happen eventually. It happens to us all.
It's going to be fireworks. Like
He's
the 4th of July, baby.
He's going to have some things to say.
So look forward to that in your calendars, wherever it may be. But yeah, look, I mean, it's like I say, it's Tuesday now. It'll probably be Wednesday by the time you listen to this. Maybe it'll be Thursday, the 6th of June next year when you listen to this.
Yeah,
the VAR talk's been covered. Yeah, the Chelsea one was bad, I suppose, in terms of like it had a different element to it of Mendy feigning injury.
Yeah. The classic,
it wasn't like,
the classic move. No matter what goes wrong, if you miskick a ball, you make a mistake, just pretend you hurt yourself. Everyone knows you didn't, but you will get some sympathy.
But did you see when he was like rolled around on the ground and they kind of had it zoomed in, and you just see the feet of Chelsea players walking by him? Yeah. You couldn't see their face or anything else, but just by their feet, you know, as they're like disgust. It's like, oh,
get up!
Oh, like like that was clearly not. They're not going to turn that one over, Mendy. Like, you're wasting your time here, pal. You've just thrown one in. But sure enough, he stayed down, closed his eyes, rolled.
Ouch!
It was bad, and Declan Rice was tweeting after the game. Oh, that was pretty sweet, I have to say. That was hey, maybe this VAR thing's not all so bad. See Declan Rice losing his right again.
Yeah. I was thinking about all the VAR stuff because do you remember at the end of last season, a lot of referees retired, like Mike Dean retired and stuff like that. And people were like, finally, a new era at these referees, like, cause it's always about them. There's always controversy. Yeah. I didn't realize they just move into the VAR room and they just bring all the problems with them there. It's much worse now. Because now they're not even on the pitch. I think it was Lee Mason was in charge of the Chelsea game. He's banned from the next one.
Oh, this is a shambles, Lee Mason. What have you done?
He retired and he's still getting banned from games.
He was bullied out of the game a year ago, and now he's like
the man
working from home doing this. I don't know what he's doing.
The man who disallowed a free kick going in because they scored it, and he thought, oh no, that's not fair.
And what was the other one then? Oh, the Newcastle one. That was actually probably the worst one, I'd say.
Yeah.
That was hilarious in a way.
It's insane how, like, one weekend, 3 huge, like, season impacting changes possibly.
Yeah, there was. I think we're probably forgetting some. Definitely. Every game there was like a glaring one.
Yeah,
like the Newcastle one was crazy in that it was an own goal on top of that.
Yeah,
like he pushed him into the keeper, then hit the ball in his own net, and then the goal got disallowed. I mean,
what are any of the
rules? You're sitting in the screen watching it and going, well,
that's the thing. We looked at the rules before. It's like a big, long book of hard to understand rules. And there's definitely no specific rule about, like, when a player pushes a player into another guy who scores an own goal. It's like, make it up as you go. Work it out yourself. Also, it's in slow motion.
How do you eat a horse? Well, how do you eat an elephant? Slowly. First things first. When a player pushes a player into another player, free out.
Yeah.
Everything happens after that is forget about it. Doesn't matter the own goal. Yeah. Doesn't matter the offside. Doesn't matter who was involved or who had a heart attack in the stadium. Whatever it was. You know, all that stuff is just like the first thing is he pushed him into the keeper. That's for free out.
Yeah.
That's how it should have been. But they got distracted. Maybe it's the person's ear saying quickly.
I was just going to say, I wonder how much that comes into it. Because, you know, when you're watching a game, there's like a long VAR call. Even like a game you're not that interested, you do get the feeling like, oh, come on, hurry up. Like, let's get on with it. Imagine being those referees, and especially being the referee on the pitch with like the fans being like, come on, like the growing roar all around you. You would be like, please hurry up, just say anything. It doesn't matter. We're not going to get in trouble for it.
You're a faceless machine, and I'm blaming you, the faceless machine.
They're just going
to Lee Mason.
They're going to blame the VAR screen.
Yeah. No, listen, it was bad, and it did kind of feel like a watershed moment.
Yeah, apparently they're doing like a proper review of it, but I think they've said that before. And what they did before was they let people tackle harder for 2 weeks. until
Yeah.
poor, was it Harvey Elliott or Curtis Jones? Harvey Elliott?
Harvey Elliott, yeah.
And then they stopped that. So I could just see that happening again.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, like I said, I don't want to get too technical about it because I know it bores a lot of people. But that was probably the biggest story was the VAR, because it happened in almost every game.
Yeah, exactly. There's no escaping it. And apparently they used the new offside VAR thing today in the first time for the Champions League. And I saw the screenshot. Did you see that of like the picture? The very confusing picture of like, I don't know who's the defender. There's arms going through like portals and stuff. So that's just going to cause more trouble.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Champions League, maybe it's time for our segment Breaking News from the Past.
Yeah.
Because it's Tuesday night and the Champions League game's on.
Right now.
Man City are 2-0 up against Sevilla.
No shocker.
Guess the score as well.
Yeah. You got to give me a game. Just in general. Oh, the scorers. Oh,
sorry, the scores.
Haaland. Is he playing?
Haaland's playing and he scored the first one, but he didn't score the second. Phil Foden scored the second.
Fodes, the Fodester.
I'd imagine they'll hold on to that game, Will.
Yeah.
Real Madrid for Celtic, much anticipated, 2-0 to Real Madrid as it stands.
Yeah.
You never know with Celtic, this could be one of their classic 3-3 draws.
Or it could be one of their classic 4-0 losses in Europe. There's been a lot of those over the years too.
One of the two, I would imagine.
Yeah.
PSG are 2 up thanks to our former intern Kylian Mbappe against Juve. And that's what kind of happens. I mean, the first few games, the first few group games are only good for one thing, and that's Champions League magazine.
Yeah. Yeah. Who are all these new players? That's what I want to know.
They go to like Copenhagen's training ground and meet the guys. Like, I started here when I was 6 years old.
Yeah, I want to see a man dubbed by the same guy every time.
Yeah. A very soothing voice, that guy, though.
Yeah, he's good.
It's a very soothing show, the Champions League magazine, especially the early group stage games. It's all about the history of a club. That's their first time in Champions League, first time they've qualified in 8 years. The last time they did this, and it shows them like, it's great. It's a great little show.
Yeah, it's very good.
But in terms of the games, is this the new format?
No, that's not until next year, the year after, I think.
Good.
Yeah.
I don't like change.
This is much quicker, I think, though. I think it's like, I don't think there's any breaks in the group stage. I think it's game, up to the World Cup.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We got a World Cup to do, really. Got the games on the way, don't we?
Yeah.
Can't have those players lazing around, not playing games all the time.
We couldn't possibly do those Champions League games a few weeks after. No. We need them now. The final must be played in May.
I guess, Will, speaking of great European teams, we should probably stop by our favourite Belgian bad boys.
Yeah.
Mechelen. Is it Mechelen FC? Mechelen?
KV Mechelen. I don't know.
KV Mechelen. The most hated team in the league because we cheat.
Yeah. Do you want to introduce the bandwagon wheel? Because there's new people in the last few weeks.
Yes. The band. Yes, I do. Sean Connery, big Mechelen fan. Huge Mechelen fan.
Huge.
No, the bandwagon wheel is a segment we have on the show here where we pick a country and then we spin a wheel, and that wheel spits out a random team from that country's top flight, and then we jump on the bandwagon of that team for the rest of the season. Yeah. And just kind of follow them throughout the year and see how they get on.
Yeah, become diehards.
We become the diehard fans, we kind of, really figure out what it means to be a Mechelen man.
Yeah.
Like I said, this year we're in the Belgian Pro League, following Mechelen. The most hated team in the league, Will, I think we heard today.
Yes, it does seem that way. So I found out a bit of info about the Belgian league. A very interesting league, the way it works. So you don't just come first and win the league, Carl. What happens is the top 4 go into our favourite thing, playoffs.
Yes.
But not the type of playoffs you'd think.
Oh.
What happens
Death
is
playoffs.
The top 4 teams get their points halved, and then they go into a mini league and play each other twice. Like they play everyone twice. and the winner of that little league wins the league.
Why do they have the points?
Because if you're running away with it, say you have 100 points and the team in second has 50 points, all of a sudden the gap goes from 50 points to 25. Do you know what I mean? So it makes it closer. So you can't really run away with the league.
That's actually pretty smart.
Very smart. It means you could barely scrape fourth, be like 20 points off, and win the league.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's a real kind of a gut punch, and also like a lifeline the other way, You think, hey, we're right back in this.
So apparently they brought this in, I could be wrong now, but I think it was like 10 years ago or a few years ago. But since they've brought it in, I think a different team has won the league every year. Something similar to that. It's basically like since they brought it in, it's anyone's game.
Madness.
Yeah, very cool.
This could be your best chance ever to win the league.
Yeah, all we got to do is scrape fourth.
And get on kind of a nice run at the right time, and then there you go.
Yeah, and just as long as the team in first gets their points halved by a lot, we're fine.
As long as they haven't completely run away with this. Currently, the team running away with it is Antwerp.
Yeah.
7 matches played, 7 matches won.
17
record.
goals scored by them.
Yeah, 5 against. I mean, good at the front, good at the back.
Yeah.
I'd imagine probably good in midfield too. So they'd be tough beat. Yeah. Hopefully they won't get too far ahead. We are sitting in 11th after our, what's that, 4th loss in 7 games.
Yes.
Not great.
No.
1 draw, 2 wins. So it's kind of, before the last result, a 3-2 loss, you would have said it's a mixed bag. Now it's just kind of a bad bag.
Bad bag.
Kind of a bad of losses and goals conceded, I would say.
A very bad bag of stuff.
Yeah. Kind of like a bag of kind of mush and kind of gone off fruit.
Yeah. But it's not all bad because we are 2 points away from relegation. Sorry, 1 point away from relegation, which is bad. But we're also only 3 points off conference place because it's a very small league. There's only 18 teams. So
yeah.
You're never too far from, like, there's only a few mid-table teams, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And look, I mean, this game, we dominated possession. It's very like an Arsenal United in a way. We had 68% possession and lost 3-2.
Yeah.
As Roy Keane might say, the only stat that matters.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll take the plaudits.
But in a way, we actually scored 3 goals. Just one happened to be an own goal.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, I'd be more worried if you weren't scoring goals. If we're losing 3-0, that'd be a problem. Yeah. Sandy Walsh on the score sheet again. Becoming a fan favourite, I think, Sandy Walsh.
Yeah.
Very easy name to pronounce for one.
Yeah.
Who are we playing next, Will? Who's our next victim?
We are playing Kortrijk. Kortrijk. Kortrik. Kortrijk.
Where are they in the table?
They are sitting in, where are they gone?
Just below us.
Just above us, yeah. Just below us, sorry. We're level on points, but we have a better goal difference by 1. We're at -2, they're at -3. So 6-pointer.
You might say early in the season for 6-pointer. We would say yes, it is. But that's seems to be the trend of the bandwagon wheel. The teams we get on seem to be said to be scrappers.
A 6-pointer, or if we make it to the playoffs, a 1.5-er.
Exactly, Will. That's what I like to hear. That kind of optimism. Other than that, I suppose, Will, it is Tuesday, like we say. Wednesday, we should be back. No, what am I saying? Tuesday, we got Champions League tonight and tomorrow night. Sunday,
Provisional Sunday, yeah. I would say going forward, because it does seem like Wednesday generally is the latest. If it's before Wednesday, it's a little treat, but we'll generally have it up by Wednesday or something up every Wednesday.
Yeah, I would say we should try and aim to have it on Monday after the games.
I'm just being realistic with us.
Hopefully we try and get the games up on Mondays. Try to do Sunday evening. That would mean, I suppose, if there was an MNF game, we probably wouldn't get there. But like I say, we probably won't get to Monday anyway, so that shouldn't be a problem either. It'll probably be.
Don't
Tuesday.
worry about it. When it's out, you'll know.
Yeah, as we try and gather fans, we just let them guess when it comes out. That's what all the top podcasts do. They just throw it out there and
work
hope
it out.
They catch us.
Just stay glued to your phone.
Yeah,
Constantly check.
This is the thing. I mean, if you're thinking, right, Monday, I'm going to check for the podcast to come out. What year is this? 2016.
Yeah.
Click the bell button. We'll tell you. We'll call you, pal. Right? Don't you be looking for us. We'll call you when the podcast's ready. When we have our very, thought out opinions that we've heard from other podcasts, that we repeat them on our own. Yeah, that's when we'll let you know.
Mush them into a little ball that we can say.
With segments like Bandwagon Wheel, breaking news from the past,
top
and
five,
of course, top fives.
How is genuinely a little peek behind the curtain? How is it since top 5 breaking news from the past has come on the scene? We're flying it, best we've ever done.
Well, is that really a question you have to ask, Will, or is the answer right in front of you, right in front of your nose, right there?
Honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense. But listen, I've been on that road before.
They're imposters.
I think to ask me, for my opinion, a little bit unfair.
But in between that, there was drinks.
Why are you talking rubbish?